Hello everyone, my name is Andrew Riley, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the Yellowstone supervolcano. So, to first start off, we're going to be talking about if the explosion actually occurred, what we would be experiencing on Earth. So, the Yellowstone National Park is one of America's largest national parks, and it happens to sit directly right over a giant active volcano. Now, due to the size of the volcano, if this did happen to erupt, the northern Rockies would be buried under feet of ash. This ash would continue to fall and cover most of the United States and move all the way down to Canada and South America. With the thick ash covering the sky above, sunlight would have a hard time peeking through, and this could mean days of darkness and even weeks. With a large explosion, this would cause devastation, damaging to homes, businesses, killings of livestock, crops, as well as ruin most of the power plants that help power most of the Central Americas. The ash that would fall would cover most of Colorado, Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming. Now, the scariest part about all of this is that the volcano has been dormant for so many years, and because of this, the next major eruption could occur at any point. The Yellowstone supervolcano has only ever erupted 3 times in history. I will talk about this in a little bit, but just for a little background, the first one was 2.1 million years ago, the second one was 1.3 million years ago, and finally the last one was 664,000 years ago. So now, if we're looking at this map, we can see the actual areas that will be most affected by the ash fall. So in the main blast zone, we have the areas that would actually have the most damages, the most deaths, etc. Now, in the second area, this could cover, people would be covered with around 5 to 6 inches of ashes. While this doesn't seem like a lot, this ash that comes out of the volcano is so thick and so dense that once it gets into the lungs of people and forms with the body's liquids, it can actually turn into cement and it could harden inside of the lungs. Now, in the tertiary zone, the third zone, this would probably have around 1 to 3 inches of ash fall. And again, like it doesn't seem like a lot, but when we look at what actually happens with this ash fall, we can see like the actual damages that it could have to the human body. Now, also, with the wind patterns all across the earth, we don't actually know exactly where the ash would fall. Now, these are the areas that it says it could go to, but with the winds and the areas that it can go to, there could be ash falling all the way over into even England if we look at it. And now, with this, America is a major distributor of goods throughout the whole world. Now, with this lack of resources, other countries would also have a downfall in their production. With the downfall of this production, we could have mass devastation of people, mass deaths all across the nation, mass starvation. The list can just go on and on. Now, if we look again back at the background, 2.1 million years ago was the first ever explosion of the Yellowstone supervolcano. Now, with this, the next one was 1.3 million years ago, and then finally the last one was 664,000 years ago. And now, if we look at this pattern, we can see that it goes off around every million years. So the likelihood of us seeing one in our lifetime is very small. So in the magma chambers inside of the supervolcano, there are many. The high temperatures of the magma actually allow for the volcano to seep deeper into the earth. So like the crust can actually expand inside of the volcano. And with this, the good thing is that the actual magma will continue to go deeper into the earth. And when it's getting deeper into the earth, the likelihood of actually coming up actually goes down. So now the supervolcanoes do differ from regular volcanoes because they can actually cause environmental issues, which we talked about previously. They can like also pose a threat to health, livelihood, society, everything. So when we look at these, it's not just a little issue. It can actually affect millions of people. Now, there has been many research done on the Yellowstone supervolcano. So with this, there has been since there hasn't been an eruption for thousands of years, scientists do have a hard time like studying it. and what the actual explosions will look like. But scientists are able to go with high tech equipment. They're able to like find out what's actually going on inside of the volcano and in the magma chambers, and they can get an idea of how big these chambers are, how many there are, how far they cover under the Yellowstone, the park. And so now, as the North American tectonic plates keep moving and shifting towards that area, the actual increase of the eruption happening does increase. But this process will take thousands of years, so we don't have to really worry about it. So while we did watch a movie in class about a supervolcano, the actual likelihood of this happening in our lifetime is very slim, but it does sit in the back of many people's minds because it is like a very scary idea. Now, in this, you can kind of see how deep into the earth the actual volcano goes. And then this image, even though it's not real, does show a good example of how big the ash clouds above the volcano would actually be. Now, they wouldn't be going into like the atmosphere and into outer space, but we can kind of see an idea of how well and how large they actually would be. And now we have my references, and thank you so much for listening.